Everybody.
Everybody. Hey.
Everybody. And they're just dropping. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of It's Your Birthday, the only podcast that gets you a gift every single week, and this week is no different, and that gift, as always, is video games. Down from on high to in our laps to on our screens, video games has graced us all in these trying times. I'm Kelly Workman. As always, I'm joined by Christian Langton.
Hello.
Still can't intro properly, but here we are.
Hey man, it's fine because you touched on something. Is that
the Lord?
Yeah, you touched on something biblical here. I think that we were kind of talking about it a little bit before we started, but hey man, like now that everybody's just staying at home and playing video games in the year of 2020, they're just gonna make it permanent, dude. They're just gonna start jacking us into the virtual world, and there will no longer be a place to go. You'll just be home.
How long do you think before our next election is just a Twitch stream, and then people just bid with bits to pick who is going to be the next proper one, and so they're just both live streaming a bunch of nonsense the entire day, and then we just vote by bits. And
could you imagine watching the debate and it's just Twitch chat and it's all like the fucking like Pepe emojis and it's all the kappas, and could you just imagine?
I don't think you would be able to hear them speak because I imagine there would be so much text-to-speech donation questions coming in that you'd never hear what they had to say. And it would just be... it would basically be similar to this last debate where it's just like, all right, you have 3 minutes. You have 30 seconds. Seriously, you have 30... Hey, it's 30... Hey, stop.
And then they're both talking at the same time and...
Yeah, consistently over one another. It's awesome.
I mean, honestly, man, like, how do I even say this without like crossing any like lines of content in our video? I guess is that something.
I mean, we can just not. I guess
I'll just say something's got to change with the process. You know, I think most people agree with that.
And I think Twitch is the company to move us forward.
Yeah, because everybody
I think
trusts
they're the ones to do
Amazon and Facebook, and everybody trusts them. Like they're the most trustworthy.
Look, we're all there, even if we don't trust them. So who cares at this point? I don't trust these guys, but they're still there. So what's the difference at this point?
I want to go to the polls in VR chat as my waifu avatar. I want to drop my ballot in. Standing next to Shrek and Garfield in VR chat.
Two other American treasures.
Yeah.
Shrek and Garfield. Two other... I would love it if our Congress had to pick avatars and it was just that. It was like the Senate, but you had Shrek in there, a few My Little Ponies, a couple Teletubbies.
They were like their Steam avatars or something, just like whatever.
Yeah, you hear like somebody talking. It's Uganda Knuckles, but he has to like move up so you can see him because the podium's too small. And it would be a lot more enjoyable. I would pay attention probably more, even if the subject matter is not exciting, just to see all that shenanigans.
Yeah, I think that's the next thing we need in politics is just everything as memeable as possible. That's what we need. I mean, that's what we need.
Again, we're already there, so we might as well just really sink in.
Just lean into it.
That was a thing like Tom Segura was talking about in his podcast too when he was with Tim Dillon. It was just like... He was like, the problem is like when Biden wins, there's gonna be a recovery period, like a withdrawal period, where you're just like, oh, it's boring. Where's all the fucking exciting shit again? Where's somebody saying crazy stuff? And you're like, it's like, cause it's not even that he's like gonna stop driving, but he's just gonna ease off the gas just a little bit, so we can kind of just chill out for a little while, which I think is a good way to say it, because it was just like. Yeah, but I think he's right, because it is just like it's been so insane and buck wild for like 4 years straight that now everyone's got this weird coked up view of politics.
It's like getting off of a roller coaster and trying to have like the most thrashing roller coaster you can think of, and then trying to get off and having like a rational like decision making frame of mind. Like you're
Yeah,
not.
it's like you have a relative on life support and you get off a thing and they're like, what are you gonna do with them? And you're like, I don't. Who was it?
Yeah.
Or what
like
relative did you say?
I mean, for me, that just sounds
And
like
then
I'm
someone
woken up. Like somebody just woke me up out of a very deep sleep.
And it's like while they're asking you the question, somebody hands you a Slurpee and a funnel cake, and like, what do you think you're gonna do? And you're like, I don't know, man.
There's a lot happening.
I think
right now.
I never liked him, and then it's too much. So
Yeah.
but that's why we have video games, right? At least
Yeah.
at that point, you can distract yourself for maybe too many hours at a time from all this nonsense. Or based on some of our news coming up, maybe not. But I guess we can start with sort of... I mean, a lot of the news, again, is going to be pretty small stuff. We're still waiting. Next week, we'll have... Well, neither of us will, but there will be new consoles that exist in this world.
Well, yeah, and we can at least like talk about what other people are saying about them, I guess.
Yeah, we can at least reiterate some stuff. Although now that I've taken back this Oculus, maybe PlayStation 5 is going to show up. We'll see, but I doubt it. I think I'm still holding out for my index order, but we'll see.
I'll say this, like some of that new Demon Souls footage. Like, I don't care if the PlayStation launches with just that game. Like, that shit, I'm pretty on board with that. Whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever that is, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So,
but yeah, so starting from the top, nothing. I mean, again, these are all going to be pretty it's pretty light so far. But there has been some people digging through the code of Crash Bandicoot 4, implying there may be a Switch port coming, which would be pretty neat. I remember the other ones I played, the remake I played a little bit on the Switch, and it ran pretty well.
yeah.
That still wish you just give us just give us the PC version, dog. I mean, come on. Like, who are we kidding? Just bring it over. Give us this bundle with Crash Team Racing since we don't have that either.
Dude,
just give us both of those. That would be really great.
That's what I'm saying. I had Crash Team Racing on the Switch, and like I did a lot of like research and reviews. I mean, it was really cheap. I think it was like $20 as cheapest on the Switch. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But it ran pretty good. Like it's capped at 30. It keeps that like frame rate. Like, other ports on the Switch are pretty hit or miss. I hear same thing with the trilogy that they released, is that it, locked at 30, but it's still a pretty good experience.
I think my only bummer is I like my racing at 60 minimum. It's something about racing games that just you get the feeling of everything and the movement way better. It just 60, something about 60 for racing just seems. Well, I think it's also traditionally, even on I guess actually honestly the PlayStation 2 had a lot of games that were locked at 60, but almost all racing games from PS2 probably or PS1 on have been at that frame rate. I guess would say PS2 because I would imagine PS1 wasn't really so concerned, but most racing games throughout time, that's the target no matter what, because you just that sense of speed and that control and everything of a vehicle just feels way better at that point. But obviously
it looks like the line of code in the game was referencing the Spyro line of code that Toys for Bob did for that port.
Yeah.
I guess that's the story. That'll be coming to Switch probably. I mean, they'd probably be stupid not to release it for Switch, right?
Yeah. Did it come out on the Xbox? Also, I don't remember if it was let me look real quick.
I think
Crash for Xbox One. Yeah, it did.
Okay. I thought it came everywhere.
Give it to us. Just give it to us, guys.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to say that was on the tip of my tongue a minute ago. But Crash Team Racing feels like built for a live service because they got the skins. They have
yeah, exactly.
All that stuff.
I want it.
Yeah, so
give us a good long-term kart racer.
Yeah,
we never have had one. Well, I mean, again, Sonic Racing All Stars Transform, best kart game on the PC, bar none.
I mean, you could emulate Diddy Kong
very
Racing,
good.
but no, I'm not.
We're not.
I'm not splitting hairs here.
We're not going back. We're in future time now. Okay, Diddy Kong no longer exists. It's only
Call of Duty, Fortnite, and a floss animation in each game.
It's only Votey Kong, and he just comes in and shoves a fucking ballot in your asshole every 20 minutes. Even after you voted, he's like, "Are you gonna do it?" And you're like, "Yes, dude, I already did. I fucking did it already."
Votey Kong calls you and sends you text messages multiple times a day.
He shoots a peanut through your window with a ballot tied to it from his stupid little gun. And then on your doorstep every morning, there's a banana peel with another ballot on it. You're like, okay, man, I did it. Stop.
Votey Kong.
It's Votey Kong. And it's just...
Oh, what a good
my
concept.
God. But even because it's done by a chimpanzee, like none of the options are even actual combatants. Like none of them are candidates. Even it's just Kongs and scribbles, and you're like, what is this? It's like you don't even know what the fuck is going on. But you're so determined, Votey Kong.
Oh fuck. Yeah, I mean they have to elect officials in the Kong universe. They have to. I mean,
I would like to think too he would be dressed up in merch of each candidate to stay impartial. So he'd have like a Kanye West shirt on with a MAGA hat, and then he'd have like, I don't know what Joe Biden's thing is. I guess like a sleep blinder, and then like or a coffin. I guess I don't know. And then I don't know. It's just so it's fucking silly. I'm just saying if Twitch is sponsoring it, I need Votey Kong now if that's happening.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Look out for
on our
Crash
next bit
4 on Switch. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Any day now. That's source code, huh? Crash. Jesus Christ.
Oh shit! Talking about games that we don't give a fuck about. Here's
I love Crash, but
but
I'm
this
talking about for sure. Yeah. I would say games that we don't care about nor are qualified to even mention, but this is one of the headlines this week, so I figured it's interesting to say the least. But NBA 2K21 seems to be getting an MMO style city mode, I guess, is what it's being referred to as.
Welcome to the city, bitch.
It seems pretty wild, like, again, for a game like this, like, I mean, look, it's no NBA Street, and it never will be.
Wait,
but look, this
can
looks
you
pretty...
can you target somebody and do a 1v1 with them on the spot? Like,
I have to assume, yeah.
Do basketball?
I mean, because
look,
this just looks like Second Life. This looks like basketball driven Second Life is what I'm seeing.
Dude, rep your hood. And I really want to rep my hood.
I like that guy looked at his hand like he'd never shot a basketball before in his life. He didn't know what just happened. He's like, oh shit,
I did this.
That was me. And that guy did a golf swing. Do they know anything about basketball? Maybe we are qualified. What the fuck is happening? Plus, that whole city, whatever that city block was, looked like just a fucking Mountain Dew ad. And then we got the Gatorade Arena. Okay.
Hey, I'll say this: they're trying something new. It's been a minute since the sports games have really tried to branch out with some shit like this.
Yeah. Well, that's why I brought it up, because this is the most interesting thing I've seen. Oh, cool, and they're all wearing Beats headphones. That makes sense. This is the first interesting thing I've ever seen in a basketball game, in years. I mean, years. So at least you know what the thing is, though. I'm looking at this, and all I'm seeing, that microtransaction, dog. I'm looking at that cosmetic DLC, dog. I'm looking at them coins that they're already doing. 1,000%. I guess that was a big one, actually, that I didn't mention, but I did hear about this, was that in the UK, they're fining EA Sports every week for FIFA loot boxes in there. But the fine is way less than probably the money they keep making. So it doesn't even necessarily matter, although it does, because they're just It's a little crazy. I want to see if I can find that very quickly and see.
Well, yeah, fucking. While we're talking about this, I guess like the new Madden game has like some almost NFL Street like style thing, and that's the only sports game I really. That and Blitz were like the only sports games I ever played and liked. So it's like,
dude, Blitz was the shit. That's the thing is like I hate this by the numbers shit, and it's happened for video games across the board really of just like everything going in these like new sequential like, all right, here's the next sports one, here's the next this. Like EA, I feel like honestly EA was in its prime when EA Big existed because they were making like the most fun sports games for people that like sports and for people that don't give a fuck about sports. Like Blitz was dope, NBA Street was awesome, SSX was super good. All those were just like fantastic. And again, I don't give a shit about any of the. I mean, I think snowboarding is cool, but I don't care about like traditional sports at all. But I played the shit out of all those games because they were just good. Like they were just good games for that stuff. And
NBA Jam when I was a kid was really cool. Like
yeah.
There's been some
Did they do? I think it was the same people that did Aggressive Inline, but there was like Outlaw Golf maybe was the name of it.
I remember that. Holy shit! I haven't thought about that in a very long time. It has like the angry
it was horny golf
or whatever. It's like got a mohawk or something.
Yeah.
Outlaw
you should
golf.
actually pull up the image of that real quick.
Okay.
But yeah, that was just that was horny golf. I remember this game. Because look at that. Okay, go down. There's like hell yeah, dude. That's what golf's about right there. Pamela Anderson probably.
Outlaw Golf 2.
Oh, they made a second one?
I wonder if Giant Bomb has a wiki page for this. They have to, right?
Oh, I'm sure they do. And I would bet almost either Alex or Jeff probably covered this game. I would think maybe Jeff, but Alex might have been the one.
It doesn't seem. It just has the one horny character. Two horny characters. It's
no, but the game is horny.
But
the cover might not be horny, but the game's horny.
How horny could you get at a T-rated game though? Like how?
Dude,
like,
you know what a golf club looks like? Penis. Do you know what they use to hit in golf? Nuts, balls. So, you do the math, huh?
They do, yeah.
Like.
Yeah. When Tiger Woods shoots that game-winning acorn into the hole, I remember that.
Yeah. Well, basically, once the golf club's halfway in the golf hole, you might as well call it a stripper pole at that point. You know what I mean? You can get really horny with a golf club if you want. So, or you can ride it like a pony. Some proper golfers did that, even non-horny ones. That's the thing about golf. Like once we found out Tiger Woods was sleeping around like crazy, you realize golf really is horny, and you never would have thought it was a horny sport, but it turns out maybe the horniest.
This dude's getting
slamming
because he can fucking hit a hole in one, dude.
Yeah, and they know. And how many times do you think that's been used on him? Where they're like, somebody will come up at a bar and is like, "I know you can hit a hole in one. Do you want to hit this hole once?" And he's like, "Oh shit, I do."
Yeah,
he's like, "Hell yeah, Brenda."
Probably.
I always think Tiger Woods is like Obama's son. Like they look like they could be. There's something about the way that they interact with people, and there's just infectious smiles that makes me feel like they're somehow related.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Hey, AMD's got new graphics cards.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. I was
And you could maybe, if this came to the PC, you could probably play horny golf on one of them.
Yeah. Looks like some more benchmarks are coming out, and it's looking pretty fucking good for AMD, man.
Okay, though. Before we get crazy, these are AMD's benchmarks showing them against Nvidia's cards. This isn't people doing this on their own. This is AMD going, check it out. We got good shit, better than this. And you're like, all right. Again, it's not that we don't need the competition. There's also the point of this is they're also running them with Ryzen specific GPU or CPUs, which has some interconnection with the way data is transferred to them. So these aren't tested with Intel chips, which is another point of contingency to make present is they may not or won't run as well with Intel CPUs as they do with AMD specific CPUs. makes sense since they make both. They have the option to do stuff like this. But again, another thing to note in this whole grand scheme here, and we also, the other thing that I've mentioned before, we also don't have temperatures anywhere, and that's something that I still don't feel good about, but we'll see. And we also don't have drivers, and we're also still testing, old already optimized games and shit, which is another thing. It can always be an issue there. Again, I am obviously on the Nvidia side of stuff as always. Again, even though they've boned me before, but we talked. It's still a grain of salt type stuff, I guess, would be the thing.
We talked about it a little bit. I mean, the thing that I find admirable about the benchmarks they're at least posting is that, like, it's not like an obvious across the board, you're going to notice these huge performance increases. Like, they've been pretty honest that, like, some games are going to perform better than others. Some games are going to, like, be a little more optimized for Nvidia because proprietary tech that they developed for those games using RTX.
Right.
All that stuff. So, AMD's, I think this is the beginning of that battle. Like, I think the 6000 series cards, like, until they have an answer for the Nvidia software suite and ray tracing, DLSS, all that stuff, until they have all that, I don't think that it's going to be a 1-to-1 competition exactly right away. I think probably right out of the gate, because people are having trouble getting the 3000 series cards. I think
I guess it depends on how many of these things they make too, though. I mean, because I guess we're not still up on their supply chain either. I'm sure they're gonna try and push more out of the gate by virtue of seeing what happened with Nvidia.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, that comes down to their production and stuff. They may not have, the means to do it either at the moment. So with the pandemic and all that nonsense. So I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, obviously, competition in this space is always welcome, but I'm curious to see what actually turns out with this.
It's just like they've been out of the GPU game so much. Like, I mean, they've released cards over the years, but they haven't really pushed an innovation as much as Nvidia has. So Nvidia has this huge head start on them, like an absolute huge.
Well, they also. The other thing is Nvidia kind of swallowed them up in the value proposition as well, because it used to be like, well, if you don't want an Nvidia card, just get an AMD, I guess, for the time being. But then Nvidia was like, well, here's a 1050 and a 1050 Ti and a 1060 and a 1060 Ti and a 27 it was like basically Nvidia was like, hey, if you want every $20 increment, we have a new video card if you want it. And you're like, Jesus Christ, like it which I think at some point is almost has an adverse effect where it's like the Wii U situation kind of, where you're just like, which one do I get? Which one's the new thing? Which one's the better one or whatever? Not exactly that, but the naming convention thing I think is like a bit of a, I guess at the end of the day, it's like which one's got the bigger number on it, and then there you go. But I don't know. It's still yet to be determined. And the other thing too is it beats out the 3080, but it is $1,000 card, whereas the 3080 isn't. That's the other thing, is like that is sort of important in all this, I guess, is the pricing here is their top of the line card is $1,000, whereas the 3080 is under that and still super good.
Well,
so I don't know.
Really, I think they were trying to bench the that $1,000 6900 versus the 3090, and it looks like it outpaces that in some cases. I mean, out of these, the 6800 XT looks like the one you probably want to get if you want to be comparable to the 3080 in some titles. I want to say that up front. Like you said, it's their benchmarks. We'll really know when people get their hands on it, but I do feel optimistic about this for people. And
sure.
If it comes out and they have an answer to the software, they have an answer to ray tracing, they have a real answer to the Nvidia upscaling features, then I think that's where it's going to be.
Yeah, and I think we also have to look at hope that their drivers are good, because that's always been their software has always been their crutch outside of just you know, like I mean, like the heat and other stuff. Like that's always been their kind of big issue is just their software side of things. Because at this point, it's like they've got the money. I mean, they're making all kind. They make all the console chips. They make. I mean, they've been doing gangbusters with Ryzen as it is. So it's like, get that team together and start fucking making something happen with the software and drivers and everything else. Because you're doing pretty good on the hardware front now. So, you know, tie it all together, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, Outlaw Golf did come out on the PC, and I'm going to be trying to find a copy of that somewhere because I really want to play this game.
You want to play
and
some
I haven't played a good golf game. I want to play some horny golf. Because, dude, the best golf game before this that I really want Hot Shots Golf or Everybody's Golf now on the PC. And honestly, if Everybody's Golf runs on the PS5, that would maybe be a reason for me to get one because I fucking really love that game. And I don't care about golf, but Everybody's Golf is...
Golf video games, they're not bad. Mario Golf, that's really...
They're good when they're not too fucking serious. When they're like a little wacky and whatever. Yeah. Or like... Because like I mean, obviously I love Golf with Friends because we've played that forever and they still update it and do great stuff with that game. But I do miss the like solo, here's your golfer, here's you getting better stats. You know, the RPG golf game, really. Yeah. And... that's definitely that one. Also on the PS5 or 4 controller, when you would get towards the cup or get it in there, it would ding it through the controller speaker and gave you this real nice like tactile like you sank a bucket and it's really nice. That's a good video game. Any hoozles.
Hell yeah.
But actually that's the thing is I guess I would have to have a PS4 controller to play that game. Because the PS5, which it doesn't work one way, but it works the other way, right? You can't use it. It doesn't work on PS4.
You can use, yeah, you can't use the DualSense on PS4. You can use the DualShock.
Well, you can't use it on PS4 games, right? But you can use it.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah, okay.
You're right.
I was gonna say there's some weird contingency there, if I remember. Oh, that was another. That's not big news, but they did. A lot of the PS5 controllers came like 2 weeks early. A lot of places got them already, and people bought those.
Mm-hmm. And you can apparently it'll work on the Switch, which is weird. But that's the thing you can.
Oh
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like some screenshots and videos out there, people pairing it to their Switch. I think it shows up as just like USB. Like, have you ever plugged in?
Well, I have one of those 8-bit dough.
Yeah.
Things because I can use my Xbox controller on there.
Yeah.
I would do that though. I'd play the fucking Switch with it because I like the Pro controller a lot, but
they make adapters for that too. Yeah, where you can like plug it.
Well, that's what I have. It's like an 8-bit dough thing, and then you set it to what it is, like if it's PS4 or Xbox or whatever, and then you just play it. It's like the way the 8-bit dough controllers work, but it's the dongle that does it. So you like hold a certain combination of the buttons on there, and then you pair whatever to it, and that works pretty well.
8-bit dough's a good fucking company, man. I like a lot of their stuff.
They make nice stuff. Yeah, they really do. And this is probably our biggest piece of news this week,
dude,
which I'm sure
real hard when I read this one. Oh my fucking god!
It's wild. And I think it's pretty crazy too. It also doesn't look great because Microsoft also partnered with GameStop recently. Like that was the thing that I was finding out is like they paired with them for some kind of their digital sales going to GameStop or something like that. There's some portion of their sales just going through. Like they started, I think their digital storefront on Xbox or something partnered with that. I think the funny thing for GameStop though is that like, I mean, if you own an Xbox, you fucking got Game Pass, dog. You're not even worried about buying shit on there, so they might not be. Maybe that's Microsoft's way of saying like, "Oh, here's $3, you fucking idiots!" Like for ripping us off for so long. But yeah, so the big story is that GameStop is holding a TikTok dance competition for its employees, and the winner receives an Amazon Echo 8, a Amazon Echo Auto, a $100 Visa gift card, and The big prize is you get 10 extra labor hours on Black Friday. Isn't that dope? For the Black Friday, I guess, week or weekend, whichever. But isn't it cool to make yourself look like a dancing dumbass for... No. You get to be on shift for 10 extra hours. It says 10 extra labor hours. It doesn't say you get 10 free hours of pay for your TikTok competition. It's you get to work that bonus time.
I thought it was
because
just
you
like
can dance like a fucking idiot.
I thought it was just like 10 extra hours of pay on top of your check, like a bonus.
No.
Dude.
I'd love that to be the case, but that's too bad, isn't it?
What the fuck? What the fuck is this shit?
If you scroll down a bit, it has the email listed. Yeah, so there you can read it from them. I love to just like read the prizes thing at the very.
They have a link to the fucking dance they want you to do.
Yeah, and who can do this dance the coolest? Who can do this the coolest from the event team?
Who can rip off the Macarena?
Oh shit. Here it is. Whoa. Damn. Horse 2020 review. Yeah. Were comments disabled on that? Is that what that was?
Yeah, comments disabled, and it has 32 likes versus 452.
Yeah, quite a few dislikes there.
This poor lady uploaded it to her own personal channel too. We may need to blur that out for the fucking. It's on the news story. It's on the.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I mean that's not us doing this. We're quoting a news article from WWCF Tech here. But I've seen this quite a few other places. It's been brought up.
I wonder how many people have uploaded their. Hold on, you can click this to. How many people?
I wonder how many non-employees have done this.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. I wonder how many people have just like fucking put a bunch of stupid shit through that. Oh no. Okay, so hold on. Ever thought I could do that TikTok challenge? Well, the event team is launching a TikTok dance challenge sponsored by Insensitive. That's probably like their HR platform or some shit, I imagine. I'll look at that.
Well, it's short for insensitive. Yeah.
Be creative, rope in your team, and have fun with it. Don't worry, you can look as bad as the
event team bring your team in all this bullshit for you to work extra hours. They don't get fucking anything.
So 2 to 4 upload the video. Deadline today, boys. You got to get that TikTok video in. You got like 3 more hours till midnight. While we're recording this on a Wednesday, so you won't even hear this. But on the 6th, when this does go live, you will get those 10 extra labor hours, dude. The instructions, okay? Yeah. Open TikTok and click the plus. Important. Yeah, very important. Click the plus on TikTok. Search for Red Wine Challenge and find a video with this song and challenge. I didn't even listen to the song. Hold on.
We probably shouldn't.
This won't play in the episode. I just want to. Okay.
It's just robot beeps.
Yeah, we're just hearing a bunch of. Bump bump. Okay, it's one of those songs. It's one of those.
It's one of those top 100s.
Record your video, click the check mark, all that shit. An Echo 8, Echo Auto, $100 Visa gift card, and 10 additional labor hours to use during Black Friday. Oh.
Weak.
Imagine what you could do with all those prizes. I don't know. I'll be stuck at fucking work.
Yeah, what do you mean? What can I do with them? I can use my Amazon Echo at work to remind me how I've been there, and then the Auto one can remind me that I'm going there. How cool! I bet the Amazon Echo is it's auto programmed to wake you up at 6 a.m. and get you fucking ready to go into work. It reads all of the corporate emails to you for your wake up alarm, so you can just start the day frustrated as fuck.
Oh,
or you know what? I bet it does. I bet it just listens in and feeds. It just has a constant microphone going to GameStop's corporate office, so they can just fire you for anything. Like we have you on file saying this. And you're like, fuck, dude. I was at home complaining about work. I can't even do it there.
That guy earlier today, we heard him while you were checking him out in the store. He said you didn't, or you didn't propose that he gets like a 12-month Game Informer.
Dude, I'm just okay. This is yes, that obviously. But here's the thing I'm thinking about it is like one's for their home, one's for their car, and then they're already going to be recorded at work. So this is just like trying to catch them at all times, doing anything non-GameStop to just get them gone.
Holy shit.
Hey, but you got a $100 Visa gift card and you get to work 10 extra hours. So, I mean, that's dope. Everybody loves working longer during Black Friday when everyone is very respectful and cool. That's like them. As far as retail goes, it's the coolest time of the year.
Wow. Oh,
actually, having worked retail for 12 years, Black Friday and all that, I fucking hate Christmas. It is my least favorite holiday of all holidays. And it should be the most fun, but it's not. Because if you work retail, they're just like, hey, don't ever see your family. You're going to be here a lot. Everyone here is mad because they want to go home to their family, but you have the thing they need or their family doesn't like them, and you're not giving it to them because maybe you don't have it anymore. And
dude, I worked at Best Buy
maybe they didn't get
Black
there
Friday.
early enough.
I worked at Best Buy for a Black Friday, and I
pretty cool over there.
I will never put myself there. Well, okay, I'll tell you this. So it was Thanksgiving Day. We opened at 5:00. So good luck, with your food coma from eating all the food that you did for Thanksgiving with your family. Come into work. We're gonna provide you some food that you already ate, but here's some food. Like a cooler of sodas, whatever. Maybe take one. Maybe they're all gone by the time you get there. Whatever. Fuck you.
Maybe they're poisoned.
Also, a heads up, you're working a 14-hour shift. We're going to give you an hour break in between, but you got to come back, work the extra 7 hours. Fun never stops at Best Buy because we're running the schedule all weekend, by the way. So have fucking fun.
Yeah.
Have fucking fun. Oh, God,
it's
what
cool.
A miserable
it's very
experience.
Cool. And I got to tell you, like I said, with this one being a console launch too, in addition to other shit, this is going to be a fun one. They're going to have a blast over at the old BB. It's going to be fucking a shit show. Dude, and a pandemic and all this, and having people cram in. I wonder how it's going to be handled, because maybe it'll be awesome and no one can be in the store. That would be great.
Imagine the grandmas who have never fucking heard of a PlayStation and then being like, does he want the 4 or the 5? And then they're bothering the fucking retail employee and they're like, probably wants the new one, dude. And then they're like, that's like $200 more. I think I'm going to get him the 4. No, ma'am. I promise you, he wants the new one. He wants the new one.
I'm sure it's the new one. I doubt that I don't know. I mean, I feel like a lot of grandmothers are tech savvy at this point, but maybe not. I don't know.
I work with a lot of them. And let me tell you something.
Sure.
Yeah. Very, very fun. Very fun experience.
It's cool, man. What a reward. What a challenge. What a reward. You get to make yourself look like an asshole. You get to have your whole life wiretapped, and then you get to work some more hours. That's really cool. And I bet if you don't show up for those 10 additional work hours too, I bet you get fired. Which is cool.
I bet you get fucked. Like, absolutely.
I bet you get fucking canned for not being there. Dude, the GameStop down the street last year, during Black Friday, I was talking to one of them because the people that work there are super nice, but the company is dog shit. But they were like, yeah, well, I mean, they only scheduled one of us for the store, and I was here for, I don't know, 17 hours, I guess, and that was it, because because Black Friday numbers weren't as wild last year as they'd been in recent years, because people are starting to get wise to it. He was like, yeah, I was just here by myself for 15 hours, so I couldn't leave or do anything. And I was like, that's because that was when their financial troubles were starting, really. So they were like keeping graveyards shifts and like really light anyway, and then having one person on a Black Friday is fucking crazy. It was a Saturday too on the Black Friday or whatever weekend.
Yeah. I mean,
it's cool stuff.
Dude, when I was coming out of high school, one of my like dream ideas was to like get into the game retail space, like open up a card, video game, like arcade, like fun extravaganza. But it seems like a fucking nightmare, and I'm glad I didn't pull the trigger on going down that path.
It definitely is, and it's like another thing too, where like, I mean, it's true with a lot of retail, but I feel like the game industry especially is like all games fluctuate pretty wildly too, and then you're I mean, depending upon how your store's set up, if you're working with the companies, you're sort of set to their selling standards and prices and stuff like that. And then I think the problem is that no matter what it is, you're a pawn shop still. Like, to get games,
Yeah.
you have to get them from people, so you're either giving them money or trading out or whatever. And then
you have to like drive to like some flea market like 40 hours away.
yeah,
To, like,
which that stuff's kind of fun, but it would get old, I think, pretty fast. And then
like, oh, I have a lead on
yeah.
like a bin of fucking games, and like
Yeah.
I mean, that I think the discovery of all that would be cool, but essentially, I think the mom pop side of the gaming industry is like a little different, but like a couple of them have like licensing deals with some of the like publishers, so they'll get like brand new games to sell.
Sure.
And sometimes they're able to like there's one in where I grew up, and they're still around. I think they've focused into cards and tabletop now, because that's very fucking lucrative, and you can really only get that shit at those kinds of stores or online, really.
Yeah. Well, and those stores benefit from people going in there and meetups and playing cards together and all that, and just having a space. I mean, but obviously pre-pandemic or whatever.
You ever, by the way, you ever done like a Friday Night Magic or anything, or have ever like attended one? Like,
no, but the coffee shop that I used to work at was in a bookstore, and they had events every night, basically, like Thursday, Saturday, and Friday. Like, there was a guy that was there that would get hired to DM every week, or every 3 days out of the week. He would have a different group that paid him to do a dungeon master for them. So we would see him all the time, but they would come in. Yeah, I mean, most of them were super nice. There was like one of those groups that were kind of a bunch of dickbags, but the other ones were all pretty nice. But they would have board games nights there and do all that, because that store was huge, so they would have that stuff. And then we would always call it, what was the name for it? But we had they would have this like band would come in every first Friday, and they were it was like 70-year-old singers for a group of 70-year-old people, and it was the worst night of the week. It was just like it was the worst night. And it was just like a bunch of, and again, I get it, like they need stuff to do, they're older, I totally understand. But it was like just a bunch of old assholes with a bunch of old assholes that are in a band, which somehow was way worse, because they're just like,
did they have a ego?
They're the talent, you know?
Yeah.
There was like one of most of them, no, but there was one guy specifically that definitely did. And like, we would always, when they would show up, we would just immediately shut the cafe doors, because people are in there studying and some other stuff. And then all the old people would just come up to the door and be like, well, why is it locked? And it's like, because you guys are fucking playing stupid ass music in basically a library. And it's like, you play the same goddamn cover song every week. And we don't need it. No one needs it, guys. It's the same. It's so weird, because it's like the same group playing for the same group of people, the same songs every like Friday. And you're like, guys, fucking go away. Move
Release
on,
a new
please.
song, something.
Yeah, dude, put out a new hit or something, guys. You got clearly you got the time, so just like do something. And yeah,
shit.
it was just we had a name for him. I really wish I could remember it. I've really been out of the loop now, but I can't remember what we used to call him. But goddamn, yeah, that stuff was really goofy. And but yeah, to your question, yeah, I haven't actually done any of that. I have been to, when I was growing up, I did go to a Pokemon and a YuGiOh tournament. I did pretty good at a YuGiOh tournament. I did not do well at Pokemon, but I didn't know how to play Pokemon, really. I just collected the cards and thought, oh, this will be fun, and then
my parents bought me a
doing.
fucking Pokemon like trading card game starter kit, and it came with like stones and those fucking like evolution cards.
Yeah.
I
It had these like clear gym rocks, and then like play mat and all this, and I was like, I think I just like the collecting part. I was like, I don't want to figure all this out.
let me keep these in a binder.
Yu-Gi-Oh was like much easier at the time.
Yeah.
But now it's like it's insane. It's balls to the wall, the most insane fucking card game you could think of. just because they don't take cards out of that game. They like there's a few that they'll be like, okay, we don't use these couple anymore, but they never have done like a generational cutoff like Magic and every other game has done, where it's like none of these past tier work anymore. Just forward.
It's like impossible to balance. I don't know. Like they have to have like a ban list, right? Like there's got to be.
They have one, but it's like smaller than you would think for a game that's been going on for 20 some years. And that's the thing is like with Magic, it's like, all right, after Gen 8 or whatever, those cards forward will work and with some limitations, but anything below that is out. And so it's like they'll have tournaments that are like wild, so you can just use whatever. But they cut off at a point, whereas YuGiOh is just like, do whatever, man. Just get crazy. All these things, there's 9 million cards in this game, and one of them is just a shopping cart. Just use it.
You want to turn all your fucking cards into tunes? Do it. Absolutely. We love it. Do they still release tune cards? Like, is that still a thing?
Well, so that's the thing is like from what I understand, again, I haven't really kept up super well. Nick and I one night were like going through this because I got on this conversation with him and I was like sending him down the rabbit hole I just went down. But it was like, so as far as I understand it, like each edition has like a new gimmick. So then all those cards will be based around that gimmick. But then they get into these like, some will like intermingle where there's like ritual summon, then there's fusion summon, then there's black white summon, there's back ritual fusion summon, then there's extreme Gaia whatever, and then it'll be like there was one card I was looking at. There was a video I found on YouTube. If I could find the guy's name.
I think I watched the one that you're talking about where like he's going over the probability of like you have to have 3 of these cards in order to like even get close to getting this card, and you have to get lucky to draw this card.
Yeah, it was the wildest summons in the game or whatever, but it was basically that idea of like one of the cards needed like 9 cards to get to this one card, but it was like, okay, so you need these 3. Once you fuse those 3 together, you'll get this one. And then once you do that, you need to fuse these other 3 to get this one. Then you fuse those 2 together and they'll separate. And then you fuse these other 2 to this. And it's like, the thing about it is like the probability of a randomly shuffled deck having all of this bullshit happen it seems so improbable.
Dude.
That I just don't give a fuck. And every card has like your college, just like a college essay at the bottom of each of them. It's like no less than 300 words, and you're like, I don't care. I can't care.
Yeah, I mean, I've been going. I went to a couple of the Magic things. I got into Magic for like a good year, and then I was like, fuck, I can't keep up.
Yeah,
and at least I admitted it to myself or whatever. But my cousin does competitive Magic. I don't know if he's still doing it in the year of COVID or whatever the fuck, but playing
Magic launched
him,
that online game that works pretty well, I've heard.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's like
it's pretty decent. I played a little bit of that. I'd actually they've updated it quite significantly. I think I want to jump back into it. I was looking at it a few days ago actually.
See, I don't know anything about Magic. I played I really like Hearthstone, but for that reason of just like it, you don't really have to buy anything. It updates all the time. And if you play it, they'll give you shit. And I honestly like the single player stuff in that game a lot.
Magic's pretty easy, but except if you're playing against my cousin, because like even like he gave me like some of his competition decks, like he has a bunch of them, so he's like, okay, I'll play with this one, you play with this, and it's like, okay. And it's going back to what you said about like having a random chance to get these, like in a random shuffled deck to get these exact cards. Dude, when I play with him, turn 3, he's popping off like these fucking insane combos. And I'm like, dude, it's like you were playing, like, I don't know how you drew this many fucking cards in a single turn. Like, I'm completely lost in it.
I've watched it because it's like you're only allowed to do, like, you can play one monster and it's like you draw one card, you can play one monster and 1 or 2 magic things, and that's it. But these people are like, okay, here we go. And then it's like, I watched one video where the guy, his turn was 5.5 minutes, and this was like sped up of him just going, okay, there's that, we're gonna summon this here, all right, pull that up, and it's like Fucking, I don't care.
Dude,
like, I can't. There's no way to care about all this crazy shit that you
The
just
other
did.
thing is that, like, when you're at that, like, super professional level, like, when I was playing a Friday Night Magic, I would have to, because the kids that were really fucking good at it would, like, just throw the cards down, not talk, and I'm like, whoa, dude, you really got to show me what the fuck you're doing here. Like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because at that point, you're like, I guess yeah, sure, man. It's like they're doing an actual magic trick in front of you. They're just like, check this out. Was this your card? It's a blue eyes white. Fuck you, dude. And you're like, yeah, man, I guess. I guess I lost too. I don't know.
I mean, and these are like literal children. I got into it like right out of like the college years. I didn't really go to college, but like those years. And I would go to the Friday Night Magic, and there's literal children there, and they're the ones doing it, where it's just like they have the whole meta in their heads, and they expect you to just see a picture of a card and be like, oh, this guy knows exactly what this does. But I fucking...
Well, that's the beauty of childhood is you're so unaware that so many other things exist that you're able to go, this is the thing I focus on. And then you just find out everything about it, and then that's it. It's the true beauty of childhood. Is just the idea of not knowing that there's so much out there, and then you finding one thing you actually like, and you just spend all your energy and time focused on that.
Yeah.
I mean, like when Pokemon came out, like I don't care about Pokemon at all anymore, but like when I was a kid, it was like I would play the games all the time, started collecting the cards, or watch the TV show. When it was recess, my friend Ben and I would either act like Pokemon or pretend to be trainers and do this, and it was just like obsessive amount of knowledge. And I can't do it anymore, but at one point I used to be able to do the voice for every single Pokemon. Like because I could do a lot of voices and other stuff in general, but at that point I was able to do all of their stuff. Like it was just an obsessive level of this content. Yeah. That now I have no affinity for whatsoever. But at that time, what else was I gonna do? Like I played a lot of video games anyway, but that was like an unhealthy amount of obsession with this one thing, which I think is really what spawned that South Park episode. Just seeing the youth of our generation being like, "Hey, man, it's kind of weird. All these kids are like sucked into this creepy animal thing, right? Like, what is this?" And then animals don't even fucking talk; they just say their names, and then the kids are all like kind of weirdly running around. This guy doesn't have eyes. This one's got shorts that are way too small. What's happening?
Yeah. Different world, different time. Holy shit.
They fight these animals and they don't eat them? What is this?
So I say we go do that TikTok challenge, come back and talk about some games that we did.
I need some. Hey, this point, during this pandemic, this national crisis, I'll take all the work I can get. You know what I'm saying?
You want those 10 extra labor hours? Hell yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love the hubris of a company to be like, dance for me, you fucking plague victim. Dance. You need more for your family? Dance for us, you dumb piece of shit. And you're like, Jesus, guys. Like, I know y'all are struggling, but for you to act like you're still on this high hill, fuck you, man. All the while giving people 8 pennies for their Xboxes? Like, come on, man. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Well, yeah, let's take a quick break and we'll come back and talk about the games that I've played this week. I didn't look at did you play anything this week?
Well, we'll get into it.
Okay.
All right.
All right, everybody, welcome back to videogame.com, the video game store where we do video games to just your ears. You don't even have to look at them or play them. You just get to hear them.
I like the game with the gun.
Everybody likes the game with the gun. That's one of my favorite games is gun game. The game.
Then they have the game.
They
have the game with the football. And the guy's on the cover like this.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And
does he throw it eventually?
They also have the golf game where the guy like this.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Where Tiger Woods is holding his fat dick out like you just did. It's cool,
and then
man.
I fucking love video games, dude.
Oh, speaking of
fucking question me.
What's up? Cool stuff. I forgot to mention this. I added 2 new gems to the collection here, boy. And that's going to be R. Kelly's Trapped in a Closet 1 and 2. This one happened to come from the Cleveland Public Library. It was a copy of theirs, and they made sure of it. It's on the front and back, and it is
I mean, really,
stamped
it belongs in a
onto
museum.
It really does, which is what I'm holding here in my house, is a museum for garbage. So these will join Tiptoes there on the top shelf.
Is that every
garbage.
episode? Is that every episode of Trapped
It
in
is
the
all the
Closet?
good ones. This one is 1 through 12, and then this is 13 through 22.
Okay, so I'll say this: the first half doesn't feel. It gets bizarre, but it doesn't feel like he was really in on it. Like, okay, so here's a good example. You know how, like, Tommy Wiseau did The Room, right?
Yeah,
and then he did,
R.
like...
Kelly did Trapped in a Closet. They're the same thing.
What I'm saying is, like, Tommy Wiseau at a point, like, didn't realize, like, why people liked it. And so he was like, oh, I'm a serious artist. But then he was like, oh. And then he did, like, that Neighbors thing, which was terrible, by the way. Just absolutely bad. And then he's leaned into it. I feel like that's kind of what R. Kelly did.
People told it was when people told Tommy Wiseau that it was basically, I mean, the way that the Disaster Artist sort of portrayed it is like he was in the theater and people were laughing, and then he sort of came up and was like, you guys got it. You got exactly what I would try to do. Nailed it. You did really good. And then after that, people were like, oh, you should do more comedies. And he's like, uh-huh. And then couldn't because he didn't the first time. That was not his intention.
Yeah.
And like I say, I think that a lot of that is true for R. Kelly's thing too. Like what you're saying is, like, I don't think with the first, like I say, that's why I think 1 through 22 is really the prime of it, because it's so buck wild that I don't think he had any idea what was happening. And until maybe he brings the old guy in, where he plays this, like, old grumpy married guy. That's when it starts to feel like, oh, I think he has been told something and now he's trying to switch it. Because before that, I don't know if the comedy was supposed to be there. I think it was just intentionally goofy. And then to his credit, though, some of that stuff is really good. Pimp Lucius is one of my favorite songs in the whole thing.
That's something you don't actually hear these days. Is credit to R. Kelly.
Yeah, well, look, I don't support the man in anything he's done. Obviously, I bought these secondhand. It was a whopping $9 for both of these together, with shipping.
Dude,
so
I don't think you're supporting the man watching it. That's not what I'm saying. I just think it's funny. But the thing is, though, is that
you have to clarify. Yeah, I guess really that you don't like this man. But I will say, as far as garbage films go and the collection I have acquired of these type of movies, which is all the movies I own are these, I had to have it. Like I've seen it so many times.
Audacity. That's
what?
Really what it is to me. The audacity of it, like the whole, like, holy shit.
The hubris of one man to go, I'm going to sing an entire musical sitcom on my own. I'll have actors, but they're sort of second to me being the focus. The one thing I haven't checked out yet that I'm very excited about, though, is the first DVD does include Kelly's commentary remix, running commentary from the creator himself. So I'm very interested to hear that, because that's the one thing I was talking about at the LAN was that I need to know. We'll never get the documentary because he's in trouble for peeing. And then trapped behind the scenes is a sneak peek from the set, and that's 100 minutes of sneak peek there that I really can't wait to see.
Do you think he tries to convince you to come to America and get your passport?
Did you get your shots? Do you want to come back with Rob to America? My favorite thing about that too is his face. Like, he says it like, oh shit, I did say that to these people.
Is that something we can play this on the show, can't we? We can play this on the show.
Yeah, you can. I mean, I feel like if you've seen H3 in the last year or two, you've probably seen this. But it's really buck fucking wild. Is the sound gonna play through here for them though?
Yeah, it'll play.
Okay, because it's important.
Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America?
He's like, oh shit, I did. I actually said that shit.
Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America?
To America.
America. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Back with Rob to America.
Dude, I don't want to give the man credit, but he can really make a song about fucking anything. And it's like he was improvising the lyrics, and then the surprise was like, hey, that's actually pretty good, and he gets my message across, and then just tripled down on it and sang it as much as he could, as quick as he could. And I think, look, again,
Listen,
you got to
man, before
separate
all
the
that
art
shit
from the
came
artist
out-
because he's a big monster, but
Before
damn.
all that shit came out, there's a reason he was very famous. I'm just...
Fly Like an Eagle, motherfucker, dude. Space Jam. I mean, come on, dog. Like, some of that stuff is just. I think they used to play Fly Like an Eagle in fucking church, man. Like, it's. I think that was like they were pretty into that for a while. So.
Yeah.
But any hoozles, that's not video games. That's real life looking like a video game, and yeah. So
what do you want to get into first?
I guess I can just quickly. I guess the only one that I have a major talk about is probably Blair Witch, but I will just quickly say some things about Torchlight 3 because I've been playing that a lot. The last I guess like 3 or 4 days I put another like 10 or so hours into that game, and it still has a lot of hiccups, I think. Like I really want to like this game, but there's just it doesn't like okay. So the big thing in this that they added later is like that they added this relic thing, which was in the game from the beginning, but it wasn't like a major feature. You also, and you may still be able to, but I've finished the story for like the third time now, and I still haven't found a way to do it. But you used to be able to switch between the relics. But now it seems like you pick it at one at the beginning and you're sort of tied to it, which, excuse me, isn't necessarily bad. But if you get a bad one, you're kind of stuck with that. And I've found like I've pretty much maxed out a lot of the relic skills, and I've used like maybe 2 of the class skills. So it's like, and I've been playing it on hard, and then I bumped it up to the next one after. About halfway through the game, and then there's one more after that. But I've been having no trouble with it by just leveling the relic itself and not even the class of the characters. So it just like sort of seems like the classes are already all kind of a little too cut and dry. And then a lot of people play the Railmaster, which is the more interesting one, but they play it without the cart system. So it's sort of making it another kind of just melee class kind of deal. And so yeah, it's just a little disjointed there, and then the biggest gripe I just realized is I finished the whole game. I mean that's not a huge achievement because you do that a lot in these games. You kind of go through the stories continually, but they have so you have that, and then you have these 3 like fame battle pass sort of deals. They're free or whatever, but it's just basically your fame, which is killing all the elite creatures and stuff. You get fame, and then you rank it up and get all that. And I finished 2.5 of the 3 of those in this main campaign that I was playing on single player. And then they, for Halloween, did an event where you could find some like special pets and stuff, which I'll talk about that in a second too. But they sent one out for they said, oh, it'll be in your online mailbox. And I was like, oh, okay. So I switched the game over to online, but your character between single player and online are completely different. So I basically spent a good 15 hours finishing off this character and doing a bunch of stuff with it to only find that now I can't use it online ever. Like I have to make another character and start the whole process over again to do that.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
Which is pretty annoying, and it's like, oh, it's for leaderboards and other shit, and it's like, dude, does anybody is anybody really going to care about that? Like I know that leaderboards are important to some people, but it's like, is that really enough to do this for the whole game? And then also that comes into question with like the Switch version of this game is like, do you have to do that on there too? Like, are they separate on that as well? Because that really sucks. Which I've heard the performance of the Switch one is pretty abysmal. That's another thing to mention, I guess. But I haven't seen it personally. But then with that though, is that like I said, that pet that they gave you was like some like dragon, a Halloween themed dragon or whatever. But that's also only for the online thing. So it's like if you have you they don't even give you the like event seasonal stuff for your single player stuff. And that's not like I think inherently that's bad, but in addition to that, it's the load times are what takes the biggest hit. Cuz like on single player, it's like immediate, which the game didn't have single player when it first came out either. They added that later. Because the online was so bad. And now it's still this thing of like, it's like what went from like an instant load in is now like sometimes 15 to 20 seconds, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's pretty jarring going from like immediate just back and forth. Like if you need to go to your fort, you have to like teleport, whatever to, or like teleport from, the dungeon into your base. So that's a load screen. And then from your base to like the town, if you need to go there. So that's a load screen, then back to that, and then back to your portal. So it's like 5 or 6 load screens. So that adds up to like a minute or two of just load screens where it would have been nothing. And you load in every new zone and stuff like that too. So it's just like a lot. And there's no real benefit to being online in this game. Like you see other people in the hub worlds, but you don't really see them. You see them sometimes now out in the world, but they don't like help you or do anything. And most of the stuff is like, You're not, I don't know, if you're gonna play online, you're gonna set up a group or whatever to do it. You're probably not gonna just do it with random people anyway. So it's just like a bad setup. There also hasn't really been any actual like content added other than the Jinn runs. Once you finish the thing, there's like tiered runs of like you talk to this genie and then you get like randomized a buff and debuff for the entire run, and it's basically like one room of enemies, then you do the boss, and then you finish it, and then you go do it another time, and then I think the first time you do it 2 times, then there's a final boss, then you do it 3 times the next one, there's a final boss, and it goes on from there. And those are fun enough, but they're still like some of those debuffs are like a little too gimmicky, and some are like even when you're playing on like the extreme difficulty, it's like, hey, all the enemies do 50% more damage and have 50% move speed and health, and you're like, well, this is fucking impossible. Like we're already struggling to get through that. Could be bad play, but the game is not like necessarily super hard. Like it makes kind of the classes a little generic because they're all kind of like have some range or whatever, and then they have like one escape thing basically, so you can kind of dodge out of the way, or like the sharpshooter just like teleports kind of, and then the mage will do a teleport and all that. So like they're all kind of similar already, and then the relic stuff is like where the interesting thing comes in, but then you end up just using that, so the overall class is kind of like somewhat unnecessary, and it still needs a lot of work. So it's weird that it like only spent 6 months in early access and is technically out when it still has like a number.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like they kind of repurposed the game from being like a always online like mobile game.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
and
like
then have sort of transitioned it to like it's still kind of wanting you to be always online game, but there's not like microtransactions, there's not a storefront, there's no battle pass, there's not like anything that would I don't know, like the online nature of it is just so strange. There's also like a 20k gold cap for your entire account, so like all your characters and stuff, so like use that to like revive where you're at, or use it to spin to build stuff in your home base, which the base stuff is kind of the cooler thing in this game. But yeah, the gold cap thing is really odd, because then at a point you're like either not getting gold at all, so there's no point to doing it. And then the other thing I noticed too is like the difficulty things are supposed to increase your luck chance for items and shit, but like I was finding on the hard difficulty, I was finding like way more legendary and other stuff, and like even on the second to highest difficulty, I'm still getting like in drops like 3 or 4 like gray items that have no stats and are just garbage, and it's like, well, what's the difficulty increase if like all the reward stuff is still trash? Like it just, and then the only thing you can do with them other than disenchant is like which you can only enchant items that have slots on them, which not all of them do. So it's also like if you can't do that, you effectively are just turning it into stuff to enchant later, or not being able to sell it because you're capped at your gold anyway. So you're just filled up with items constantly that you don't really have anything to do with. So yeah, just I don't know. There's just a lot of issues. I mean, they've still been updating and stuff and patching it and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, they're working on it obviously, but it is getting a little bit of a bummer to see it just not quite the speed that you would want for this or the kind of content. Like even the Halloween update. Oh, that was what I was gonna say with the Halloween thing. I'll finish on that. But yeah, it's like you get there's 3 Halloween pets. It was like a dragon, a cat with a witch hat on it, and then a dog that was like spray painted with a skeleton. And obviously I wanted the skeleton dog because it's a skeleton dog. But I went through, I started a new character completely for when the event started and finished the game with it. So from level 1 to 40, or I think I'm at 54 now or something like that. And I think the cap is 60 or 70, something like that. But basically through the full extent of the game. And you can only find the pets in those pet cages that happen randomly. So I opened probably 70 of these things throughout the course of that. And I found one of the pets, like it was an Azure Dragon. I found 5 of those and then 1 purple version of that same pet. And then I didn't see the other ones at all. So I don't know if like the drop table is just really bad or like there's other requirements that are met that they didn't mention or something like that. But it's also like for a random like week-long event to have the drop rate that bad for a thing that doesn't really matter. It's just aesthetic mostly. Like, because all the pets, you can just change their skills to whatever. So the pets don't have any other different thing. They just have like a legendary or whatever. And there's a cap on the pets, how many you can have too. And then the only thing you can do with them is like, I think, let them go. So you can't even sell them or do anything with them. You can just release them. So again, it's like they're a vanity item that you're making like nearly impossible to find. Because I can't imagine most people are going to play through the entire game again just for this thing. Like I had just done. I just by virtue of coming back to the game now, I was like, oh, I should just play through it anyway. Yeah, I mean, I still have fun with the game and like I'm still going to keep up with it, but I just think it just needs a lot of work still. It's a bit of a bummer. So
it is, because Torchlight 2 was really, really good. I liked that game a lot.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is like the game only spending 6 months in early access has also kind of burned the community too, because like a lot of people that bought it then like are aware. Like I'm fully aware it was in early access, but now that it's launched with that such of a short window, and now people that were buying it on launch are like, what is this game that I have? Because it's not a full game, and it's like, yeah, no, it's not. But they said it's finished, and then it came out on consoles too, finished, you know, or released or whatever. So it's kind of weird, bad practice. I mean, maybe they were at a point where they're like, we need more money to keep doing this or something. But I don't know. A bit more transparency with the community on all that stuff would be welcome. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. That's Torchlight 2. I also played a shit ton of Wreckfest because that game is fantastic and will continue to be really good. It's, I think, maybe my favorite racing game to date.
Did they do any kind of like update on this, or like Halloween update or anything like that?
Well, Halloween is sort of, but they started their season 2 like 2 weeks ago, I think. Which is they had an additional DLC pack that was like $10 that comes with 12 cars over the course of the season, and then I think it's every week and or month in the season. Well, every day there's daily challenges, then there's the weekly challenge, and then there's the season challenge, which is for like I think a month. I think it's like a month-ish. And there's usually like this one now is like a short bus that has like a snow plow kind of thing on the front of it. So that's like this month's seasonal car that if you just do the daily challenge and stuff, that you get fame, and then you can buy the cars out of the store there. So you can only get them through earning this currency and doing the daily challenges and all that stuff. But I'm finishing like the last championship of the game and doing all that stuff and just playing through it normally. And did a little bit of the online stuff, but there's so many moments in this game that are just so good. Like some of the it's just fun racing for the sake of it, and then just the destruction stuff and just the amount of times like just that you like teeter a car and watch it hit a wall and then just do flips and all this, and then just the destruction of the whole thing is like it's just phenomenal. Like I love this game so much, and it feels really good.
Like, can you quick match into like a hopper with a friend? Because I bought this not too long ago and played some of the single player content because I didn't want to jump into multiplayer just yet, but I haven't really picked it up again. But
the beauty about that too, okay, so You could because it's just server based, right? So you can just join a server with another person and then just do that. The online stuff though is not like competitive necessarily. Like there is competition and stuff, but like when I initially started playing the online stuff, I was like, oh, there's this dickhead just driving around backwards on a bus. What a fucking asshole! All this, like, we're trying to race and all this shit. But you realize, like, the more you play it, you're like, oh, I want that guy and like 2 other dudes to be doing that, because you sort of want it to get as like fucking wild and ridiculous as you can make it, because that's sort of the point of the game. So like after you let go of that idea of like having to win the race, it becomes like way more fun. And it sort of, in a weird way, I was sort of thinking this as I was playing, is like it's almost like a roguelike, because at a point all the cars become obstacles once they've been turned out and all this shit. Not a roguelike necessarily, but like the track becomes pseudo procedural, because the track is going to be the same, but the obstacles are all going to be different based on where people wreck and what happens with it. So it sort of makes it a new kind of experience every time you do it. And yeah, with the online, you just have the unpredictability of someone could just be like, all right, I'm done with this. I'm turning this thing around, and I'm fucking just driving as fast into you people as I can. And it's great. It's such a good video game. As far as racing is concerned, I absolutely love this game, and I'm happy they keep updating it. This season thing is really cool. I'm glad they've added that. And then the only thing I wish
that game has an audience, to be honest, because like I know that when it came out, it didn't set the world on fire, but it seems like good word of mouth and more people have been getting more into it. So
well, it had some like weird buggy stuff at the beginning too, and it was also kind of expensive for a game you weren't sure about. And then now I bought it for Justin at one point. It was like $10 at the time. And then like I said, with like a 12 card DLC pack for like $10, that's good practice on the DLC front. And then the free updates. Usually the seasons will come with like 2 or so new tracks as well. And then like the challenges stuff and all that. So they're doing good work with it. And there's no other Destruction Derby game, really. We don't have another one. But this one, it's thankful, I guess, that there isn't another one, and that this one is as good as it is. So it's like it's twofold on that front. But yeah, I absolutely love Bugbear and what they're doing with that game. And yeah, I think easily one of my favorite, if not my favorite racing game of all time. I absolutely love that game. It's just ridiculous.
I guess before we move on, that like kind of solidifies my point that like I think we talked about it a few episodes ago, but essentially that like I think the next big indie rush that I foresee coming is like really good indie racing games.
I hope. I mean, we got it. Inertial Drift is fantastic. That drifting game that I had done a review of, or we talked about a few weeks ago. Awesome. Like as far as drifting goes, hands down, most enjoyable drifting mechanic ever put in a video game. It's so great. And that's when I'm like, I'm wanting more updates out of that game, because I know they've planned to do some stuff after release, but fuck, I want to see some more stuff added to it. I hope it does. I hope it does well enough to where they can, because it's incredible. It feels so good to play. If you like drifting.
Speaking of indie racing games,
yeah, Blair Witch. Yeah, this was
another great segue. Another incredible segue.
Well, you're the master of it. It's just all you have to do is say "speaking of," and then just say anything else after it. Speaking of the thing we just were, here's something completely different. It's that Monty Python approach. It's like, and now something completely different. But it's I played Blair Witch because it was free. I guess it's still on Game Pass, actually. I noticed, but Epic was giving it out, and it was Halloween, so my girlfriend and I, or my partner and I, sat down to give this a run, and it's not bad. It's just not. It's not really a game, I guess. Like it is more just kind of happening to you as you go on, and I think a lot of that's by it's really like linear. Like it's really just a straightforward path forward, and then the dog is sort of guiding you through it anyway, which is it's your service dog kind of deal, because your character has PTSD. It's not technically a service dog, but you're like your police chief is like, here, take this dog. You deserve each other. He's been through a lot also, which they don't really explain what you've been through. It's sort of, I think it was like you killed someone's brother on that was like did something. Like they don't necessarily explain it. My guess with this game, it's sort of the only real puzzle part of the game is like you get, and I wouldn't even really call it a puzzle either, but that you pick up video cameras sort of strewn about that you find, and then you'll sort of watch the videotape and it'll play a scene, and then you rewind it to then rewind it to rewind reality. Basically, like there was one like a tree fell and it blocked your path, but it fell on the tape, so you rewind the tape before it fell, and then the tree's just up and you can just move on. So it's not real. Like effectively, almost all those puzzles so far that I've found is you basically just rewind the tape to the beginning, and then reality resets for that area. And you can kind of do whatever, but you're sort of searching for a missing boy in the woods, but it's sort of this like supernatural kind of like, because he has such severe PTSD, you're also, some of the woods will turn into like clips of the war-ish almost, like you'll be running through the woods, but then bullets will just start whizzing by you, and then you'll see like, you know, American flag pop up. Like they do some really good stuff with that. Like you'll like look, there's a lot of times where you'll look at something and then but when you look at it again, it's not there anymore. So a lot of like, there's like an American flagpole thing and you'll look and you'll go, okay. And you won't even, it's not even stuff that you really take note of, but you'll like turn around and you go, I thought there was this thing here. And I think that stuff is really neat. Like they've done some really cool stuff with that. But I will say, with his sort of illness aside, like he as a character I don't like the main character is just kind of a dickhead in general. And honestly, my guess for this whole game is that he's the killer, because the way that it's coming out, it's either going to be that, or it's that thing where it's like, actually, but this thing that happened that you didn't see means that this guy's the killer. Here's the twist, how that stuff happens, where it's like it'll give you this this foreshadowing the whole time, and at the very end be like, but you didn't know about the note that makes this guy the killer, and you're like, oh, okay. So, and that's sort of what it feels like it's going to be. I will probably eventually get around to finishing it, because it's not a super long game.
It's like 4 hours. This is like a long play I'm playing. It seems like it's about a 4-hour game.
Yeah, they were saying time to beat on the website was like 6 to 8, I think. I could imagine you could probably burn through it. I don't know. Yeah. We did maybe an hour and 40 minutes or so. Actually, skip to like an hour and 40 in here and see where he's at. I'm just curious, because that'll give me an idea.
Let's see.
Yeah, okay. We did do this already. Go maybe another 30.
30 minutes?
Yeah. That's a rail car and stuff. Yeah, this is... We got to like the second station on this thing, but this is where we bowed out. So yeah, that's about 2 hours. Yeah, so I guess it is.
So there's no like jump scares, right? Like, because that's kind of...
No, the only thing that happens is like... I hadn't really had any yet. Like there's... Which, from what she was telling me about the Blair Witches, it's sort of, that's not really the thing there. It's more like psychological thing of like the people around you kind of messing up. Because I've never seen the movie, so I don't know. But the there's like a weird tree creature that kind of like, or creatures that sort of are like chasing you more or less. And that just turns into like the dog will bark in a certain direction, and you basically just like hang your flashlight in the direction that your dog is facing, and you'll probably hit the thing, because you can't really see them, and they'll come up and like hit. I've only been hit by one of them once, and it just did like my screen turned a little red. You don't have like a health bar or anything, so I don't really know. Like, I'm sure there's some in the background, but I don't know actually like what your health is or how many hits you can take or whatever. But those things, they even tell you, it's like they'll start to by people that are standing still or sitting there. So it's even in that end, it's like sort of trying to push you forward even more. So it's like it's just a very like, hey, just go through this thing as quick as you can. Yeah, we didn't get to this part. I guess this is where he like fixed the thing, because there's like an area that these weird like, I don't know, dust creature things, or like the tremors are there chasing you or something. So we're trying to go around through them, but yeah, I don't know. Like, again, I don't think it's a bad game, and I think there's some interesting set pieces and some nice stuff, but it's definitely not like like I'd be interested to watch the movie to kind of compare the two and see like what that is, because obviously I don't think it's disjointed from that, but
yeah, it's the movie. So we were texting about it a couple days ago, and the way I heard this movie or this game explained is it's less of a game and more of like an experience. Yeah. It's like kind of the same thing I think that the original Blair Witch was trying to capture, is that it wasn't necessarily like a movie. It was like you were supposed to watch it under the pretense of, oh, they found this tape and here we're putting it on film. And that was like one of the big first movies of that type. Like later on you had your Cloverfield, you had your Project X or whatever. Like you had those fucking found footage movies. And then that one was like, it had this eerie like realism to it. Characters would just like, it was like they were losing their minds a bit. And so like there were a couple like tricks of photography and like stuff like that in the movie. It wasn't necessarily outright like creatures and shit like this game. But I think that stuff is like implied.
Okay.
Really, that movie isn't like, it's unsettling, but it really was the first time I saw it, and that was really of its time. I don't think like watching it today necessarily would capture that same magic that it had, because that movie came out of nowhere. Like it was more of a curiosity, it was more of an event and an experience than a movie, and I think that that's something the game was trying to do. It's we're not necessarily a game, we just want to like tell this story in like some cool ways that only video games can do, because I've seen the game in action like here and there in trailers, and like it dropped surprisingly I think last year, the year before.
I think it was last Halloween or somewhere right around that time.
Yeah, because I remember the first time I saw it was in like an Xbox presentation, and then they were like, "It's out today."
Oh yeah, it was okay. Xbox's event at E3 I think last year or the year before that.
Yeah.
They put it there. I was gonna say I didn't actually know that this existed, but they, it looks like they. Yeah, on the 29th of this month, they put out the Blair Witch Oculus Quest edition, which I was going to say, having played this, I was like, this would be a pretty good VR game. Like, because there's not really a lot that's going on, but it's eerie enough that if you're like really encompassed by it, that's I think where horror would actually come in. Because I don't find this game to be really scary, like at all. Like there's a few sort of like light whispers and other stuff that kind of come at you in your ears. Like you hear your heartbeat in your ears sometimes in the game, and that's like a little eerie, I guess. But as far as horror games go, I definitely didn't find it to be super scary. But like you're saying, if it's an experience and that's like a psychological thing, then it definitely is more of that, I guess. It could be better, but it could be way worse. So it's like I said, it's really not a bad game. If you have Game Pass or if you have Epic, I think until, well, I guess not now once this episode comes out because that'll be Friday. It'll be off there, but I mean, it's for a short little, deal. It's totally serviceable. Like it's not, like I said, it's not changing the world by any means, but it's a totally fine experience.
I see you still have Watch Dogs on the list. Did you want to talk about that real quick?
I will for a second, because I really haven't felt like going back to it. I keep thinking about it, and then like I was like, I should play more of that, and then I fired up Torchlight, and then I was like, that, and then I fired up Wreckfest instead, and then there's something else I played instead too, because I was like, I played a little bit more Teardown, which is still super rad, and then I'm waiting for the Grounded. They have a big patch coming here really soon, where they're gonna with the pond and everything, and I think that's I think Xbox might have gotten it already, and then it's coming our end here relatively soon. Which that'll be rad. I'll probably jump back into that finally. I did pick up Black Mesa, and I have played the intro to it. And that was
good. It's good shit.
It's pretty neat. Yeah, I'm interested to actually go through the whole thing because I've been kind of playing some other stuff, but I it was down to like $10, I think, so I grabbed it.
Yeah, the funny thing about that game is that it was in development for quite a while, and
it was like
the
8
Zen
years
levels,
or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think they only released the Zen levels like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, and like the beginning of that game, apparently, like they're gonna go back and touch it up to like match the quality of the Zen levels, because those are apparently like a whole other level of like fidelity compared to the rest of the game.
Well,
They
so
spent
that's
the most time on it, I think. But
yeah, they have there was a thing here that was on the 29th that said Black Mesa Definitive Edition Beta. So in the beta branch, they have like we changed the chapter to have more cause and effect gameplay to better highlight the player's overall goal. They did some like overall lighting stuff. Did some stuff with the they did another art passes, I think, on the earthbound environments, and then on the rail, and then they showed like a bunch of different levels where they're going over the art stuff again. So yeah, it seems like they're still like messing with it. There's they also added and this may have been in longer because I obviously just got it, but they added like workshop support and stuff and doing some other things. So they're just like making it like their own shit. Like they're really going into it. But yeah, I guess to touch on Legions a bit. I don't know about that game. Like I just don't know that. I don't know. I'd like to see more of it. Like I would like to finish the story stuff. I was pretty interested in the side quest stuff. Is like pretty minimal, so it sort of seems like it's trying to push you through it. Like it seems a bit more linear than like I haven't found any side quests or anything. I think the side quests are only tied to like just trying to unlock a specific person. But I also haven't tried to do that because everyone I've had, like I was saying last week, have been fine. So it's like there's kind of not a lot to do outside of the story. Like you can kick a soccer ball in the air, I guess, if you want to do that, or deliver packages for the like partial Fox thing, which is kind of a bummer because like in Watch Dogs 2 they did like that Driver San Francisco thing, which was kind of rad, and then they had like the take your picture with the monuments deal, which was like not necessary, but it was kind of neat to just there was just stuff that would pop up while you're moving around that was like, oh yeah, I'll go take a look at that thing, I'll do this, whatever.
Yeah,
and then that
Watch
fan
Dogs
deal
also, I think, did a better job of like keeping you invested because like, yeah, the characters are written like a 40-year-old man like hung out with some like teenagers at one point and like kind of wrote some dialogue, but
they were doing drugs, but they didn't give him any, so he was just kind of annoyed a little bit, but he still like kind of liked him. Yeah,
exactly. The old guy at the party, like I don't know. I did find like the main character of that game endearing in a way, and like the cause that they were going for. I liked the whole structure of that game. Like,
well, and that's the thing too. Here is like the narrative driving the thing is like, yeah, I want to stop these people too. They're fucking insane. Like the stuff they're doing is horrible. But then it's like, oh, but right, I'm playing an NPC basically. That is talking to other NPCs, and it's just okay. So it's just like
there's no like agency to it. Like
and I don't like the main lady that's like in charge of the force. Like I just found this like police agent, and I like her so far. Or like her reasoning for stopping this lady whose name is Bloody Mary is like this lady that runs one of the criminal organizations that's like harvesting these organs, and it shows like a scene of her like just like they're like chipping, or they've implanted chips in like these slaves that they have, so they're going off to sell them, and then it just like her turning a chip off and like frying this lady's brain and then having them take it to get their organs, and then setting an example for the other slaves that are in this lady's mansion. And you're like, yeah, I'd like to take this lady out. She seems pretty horrible. But again, it's like by virtue of, like I said, a couple different times over, just by the characters you're playing, I don't know. I don't care. Like it's just my team doesn't matter. Like, I guess. And I can't imagine, unless the voice actors for them are amazing, like me finding a random person on the street and going, that's my guy. I want him. I want to care about him now,
Yeah. Well, so what's this shit in the game with like Aiden Pierce is a playable character, or like he has?
I have
like
no
a
idea.
story?
Like I said, I still haven't seen him, or he hasn't popped up. So I don't know. Again, I'm not like super far into the game either. I'm maybe like 10-ish hours ish. I'm gonna try and play some more this week until Valhalla comes out, because that's 6 days from now, I guess. So I'm gonna try to put some more time in before that comes, because that game could be a bust too, and then it's really a waiting game until Hyrule comes out, I guess, since we're not getting Cyberpunk this month. So it's sort of like just dipping through.
Assassin's Creed, I'm getting free, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'll try it out.
Well, I'm still subscribed to the monthly thing for now, so
it's like the only there were 2 settings that I thought that Assassin's Creed could do pretty good, and it was like, you know, old like Japanese Empire, or they could do
still like to see that one.
Like, yeah, they could do something in like ancient, like, you know, Nordic stuff, and they're kind of going that route. So yeah, you know, it seems like the aesthetic and like the thing they're trying to do is up my alley, especially because I really liked God of War.
Yeah, I wouldn't go in expecting that quality of writing and other stuff.
No.
Like, you probably only get like maybe 6 boys throughout the whole thing. You won't get
I'm
the
talking
260
like
that you got. Oh,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
No, I understand. Yeah, the aesthetic of it seems great. I mean, that was the thing with like Origins, right? It was like, oh, I want to play a game set in Egypt because we have like 4 of them, and 2 of them are for kids. So it's like I would like to see ancient Egypt in some capacity, because it's just not one we get very often. And I think we've said it before, but it's the same thing with like Black Flag, and it was like, I'm more excited about a game where you're pirates rather than an Assassin's Creed game. And yeah, it's the same thing here. It's like, I'm more interested in checking out Viking stuff, because I didn't particularly love God of War, and I haven't had another game other than like Vikings and stuff, but those games are kind of bad.
Yeah.
And so, or kind of, not my taste anyway. So yeah, I'm interested to see, but that's the same thing. Yeah, feudal Japan would be a real good Assassin's Creed setting, and I don't know why it hasn't happened. Or maybe it's just that idea of like, well, there's like Ninja Gaiden, and then there's all these other ones, so we don't need to do one. Because they also did those like side story ones that like should have been, like, could have been really interesting full games. Like they did Assassin's Creed Chronicles in Russia, and then they did one in India, and then they did one in China. And it's like all 3 of those are almost more interesting than any of the other ones you've done outside of like the ones they're doing now of like the more time period stuff. But at a point, it's like they're not even Assassin's Creed games anymore. It's not real. Like, stealth doesn't fucking matter in the last 2 or 3, and it may not matter in this one either, because you're just like a warrior basically. It's sort of like a whole franchise dedicated to having a knife on your wrist, which is really weird. Like, it's not even the other stuff of being an assassin is sort of thrown out the window. But it sells, so I mean, you know, why call it anything else, I guess. But
yeah, man. Yeah, not a whole lot going on. Like, not a whole lot. You know,
I would like to play Dirt 5. That's coming out, I think, in 2 days, but I don't particularly want to spend $60 on that, depending upon when this index order hits, because I think I initially put it in August 8th, so I'm guessing somewhere around the 8th or 9th of this month it'll show up. But I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna, you know, what their stuff is there.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Apex Legends is on Steam now. I forgot that happened today.
Oh yeah, that did happen. Yeah, I think they're doing some like cross-platform stuff soon too.
You know, I'll probably.
I think that stuff's in beta.
This.
Or...
You know, I don't know.
Well, I'll quickly.
I would jump back into that.
I will quickly go through the things I've been doing. You already know what it is. I've talked about it for the past couple weeks already.
Has
but
it still been going on?
Dude, it's still. And I get it. Like, I absolutely get it. Like, why people didn't like this game when it first came out.
Well, we don't have to
essentially
go
just
over all that again, because that's sort of what we talked. I think that was our discussion last week. Was like,
yeah. But I mean, I get it. But at the same time, dude, they're doing cool shit. Like the Fate of the Damned stuff is really cool because they added like a visible like progression in a way. Because you had the ranks for like all the factions and stuff you're doing, but now they have like a whole daily award system, and you can actually like go through the event, and there's certain like tasks and objectives you need to do to like unlock certain like objectives, and that gets you like the pistol of the damned or whatever. It'll get you like set items from that, ship customization, stuff like that.
Oh, this is the stuff. Yeah, you were saying you wanted this cosmetic shit that came out from this one.
Yeah, because I got the sword, so that's like the first reward. Now I think they unlocked. I think you can get a lantern. I think the pistol is next, and then it'll be like the Eye of Reach, which is sniper, and then the blunderbuss. But yeah, I still haven't done a Fort of the Damned, which is like really what this whole thing is, like trying to force you into in a way.
And
because you get a ritual.
Is this ongoing, or is this just like Halloween stuff?
So right now it's like ongoing, like it's going to be going through the month of November, and maybe like because they do these monthly updates, it seems like pretty significant, like almost monthly updates.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I think like as they move out of Fate of the Damned, they'll do this whole system again with like daily challenges and like awards and stuff.
Yeah, just for like a different like theme, I guess, or something.
Yeah, and essentially it boils down to you getting like the blue currency, which is like the doubloons, which you spend in like the black market.
Yeah,
gold, and you're really just getting cosmetics and shit. But the moment to moment gameplay is like very fun, very emergent. Like coming across other players and like, like just making the decision of whether you're gonna go after somebody, like the risk of reward or having loot, and like I don't know. To me, it's a very fun, almost cathartic at times experience, but it can get stressful very quick.
Yeah, it really can flip at any minute to where it's just like, oh fuck, everything's hitting the fan, and then the boat's flooding, and so is coming around the island. And I mean, it's cool how that stuff all comes together when it does.
Yeah, they added skeleton pets to the Emporium. That's like the premium thing, so you can buy those. I think the ship customizations, I think you can unlock some type of ship customization through the event, or that's just Emporium. But we were talking about it last night, me and my friends, and it's like, yeah, like those sails are really cool, but you're a target. Like you can see that shit a mile away.
Yeah, that's what I always felt like with everything in this game. Like every ship customization thing is like, it looks like they got money. Go get them. Like, like you'd see a nice boat and you're like, well, those are some people that have put some time into this game. So so the chances are we're not gonna find them, but I bet there's something good on there.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah,
I need to dip back in. I think the problem is now that once Grounded's update comes out, I'm gonna be stuck on that for a while because I really want to see what the pond is all about because I've been putting it back.
I will.
Did you start this?
Grounded with you. I did, man. I actually did. Yeah. So I started playing some Bravely
Default. Yeah.
I really have only played. This is gonna be. Oh yeah, this isn't a great video to put up. Aspect ratio is all sorts of bad.
Well, that's by those DS ones,
Yeah, I'll just play the IGN review. Fuck it. That's what's going up on the screen.
Did you ever almost buy like a capturable 3DS?
No, because they were at the time I was looking into it, they were way too expensive.
Yeah, they're pretty. It was like $600+. They were insane. I wanted one really bad though.
Yeah, because there's such a good library of games on the 3DS, man.
Yeah.
Luckily, I still have this
really
game. I thought I had gotten rid of it, but I actually bought it digitally, which I didn't realize. So,
oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So at the time, I think it was a bigger deal because JRPGs were kind of on the backslide of things, and Like people weren't really making them like they used to, I guess. And I've never been a big fan of JRPGs, so to say. Like, but the ones that like have interesting like metagame mechanics, like the job system in this game, like the magic systems, like
well, I just
all
like the
that
fact
stuff.
that you can just speed it all up. You can take 5 turns on your first turn and just end the thing, and then just get, like go. Like the speed of combat in this game is greatly improved. I think like you can really, you can make grinding in this game like nothing. You can actually make it just auto grind. Basically, you can just move around and it does what it wants. But sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Sorry, I hear my kiddo in the other room. I'm letting my girlfriend know. You can cut all that out if you want. So
I'm gonna let it play.
Yeah, the ability to speed all that up is really nice. I always tend to avoid the auto stuff, but it feels like, because this is trying to go for that traditional thing, that you may end up wanting to like just grind out and get experience. And
yeah, at a point you want to in this game, because some of the level stuff and then just the way the character systems were, and some of it, it's still that thing too in some dungeons where they just like, creatures just pop up randomly since you can't see them, and at a point you're just like, all right, let's go, like, or like trying to escape a dungeon or whatever, get out of it, so it just speeds all that stuff up because some of those things are really trivial. But
I do like that it has a quest tracker. Like it actually gives you like objectives to try and complete, like in between the story stuff. I don't know how much that stuff slows down because a lot of them at the beginning kind of feel like almost tutorializing you through things.
I think they stay pretty throughout, though, if I remember right. It's been a long time, but I feel like that stayed pretty consistent throughout the game.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll pull it up real quick. I think we showed it last week when we talked about the partner showcase. But yeah, like the art style of that game is like very good looking. But then like, I don't know if they were necessarily trying to capture it again, like here, but it's just something about it that I couldn't really like jive with.
You see what I'm saying now?
That. Yeah.
It's like all the enemy stuff looks awesome, but the characters are just all super weird. Like they went for this like weird pseudo chibi anime thing. Like they went almost the adverse. I don't know what it is. They did elongated chibi characters or something. Like their heads are pretty big, but their bodies are like not tiny enough to be that, but they're like in some weird in between thing. But then their faces are like sometimes hyper realistic. Or like
the first game had this like almost storybook fairy tale style to me, and I think that was like by virtue of being on a handheld console. The resolution was kind of low. They kind of had to cut some corners in some of the design choices.
Like this character doesn't look bad.
Yeah, some of it looks pretty decent, but yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like they wanted to update it, but at the same time, like the art style was like better as like a minimalist game, I think.
Yeah, it just looked more like it's sort of that idea of like playing a game as a child and then playing it back as an adult is like you can kind of imagine more of what these characters seem like to you. Like your imagination of them is like you're able to fill in the blanks a little more to your liking. Whereas here it's just like very like clear, like this is a weird, ugly dude thing. Like instead of just being like, oh, I can kind of make up my mind of what this character is to me. Whereas here it's just like trying to really give it to you. I don't know if that necessarily makes sense, but yeah, I like the art style of the first two were just much more captivating to me.
Yeah,
but I'm still excited to play the second one because I really like that one. So
yeah, if you haven't played the first one in a while, like the little bit I've played of it, like I've enjoyed it. I'm gonna keep playing it because I do think I'll probably end up picking up the second one because I think it in a way that first game when I played it, like I was like, okay, this is the type of like JRPG turn-based combat type of game that I could get into. So
yeah, it's the first one I've ever
my
really liked outside of tactics style games.
Yeah. And then lastly for me, I picked it up. I did it. We talked about it last week. I couldn't keep myself from getting it. No More Heroes 2. What a fucking video game this is, dude.
Still
It's-
pretty great.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, like, the humor is what it is. It's like very in your face. It's almost like it's not quite on the level of a Duke Nukem, but it's
Right.
like pretty fucking close. It's just a very stylish game. I will say, like, I don't think it's realized its like full potential. Like, the third one looks really good, but the second one, like, going back to it's a little more samey than I remember it being, because like you go through these like dungeon type things, you fight a boss. This is actually the introductory boss. As you can tell, it's like showing you all the controller prompts.
Right. And on the Switch, is it like still done like?
Yeah, so you can use the Joy-Con separately and do the motion controls if you want. I just play it with the joypad. Like, the thing
Oh,
about
so you
the
can
first
play
one
it
is
without it,
that
though?
Yeah, I called it a joypad, dude. Am I like?
Yeah, I know you
50?
did. I was trying to quickly ask another question to maybe move past it, so you didn't look like a dumbass. But that's okay,
Oh,
dude. You
fuck.
wanted it now.
Yeah, I mean, I use the controller, as the kids call it.
Right.
Because the second one, like, actually supported the classic controller on the Wii. The first one, I think the Wiimote was a requirement. And so after,
Okay.
like, slamming against the motion controls of the first game, I was just like, yeah, this second one, I'll just fucking play it regular. And it was fine. The motion controls are still okay. It's just like...
Yeah, but it's not
you don't
always,
have
it's
the
not really the preferred way to do most of this stuff, I think.
Exactly, because in the motion control, you have one button for attack, and so depending on if you're holding the beam high or low, like literally tilting the controller is like how you do certain heavy attacks or like string certain combos. So you're like constantly moving it.
You know, I
the
think
the-
that's
the-
actually
there
what
is a
turned me off from
joke.
playing this originally.
Yeah.
Is that because I saw that there was another game that was like Six Steel or Red Steel or something like that.
Red Steel?
was-
That's it.
That was another one that I was like, oh, I want to play this, and I was like, oh, it's all okay, never mind. Like, I just never
The
quite got into the
second-
gimmick of it.
The second Red Steel is very good. The first one is atrocious. The second one like had this like almost arcadey, like almost like a light gun kind of thing, but you were actually like fighting rooms of dudes. But it had that like feeling and aesthetic that you were actually like pointing a gun at something. It felt good at the time.
Sure.
But yeah, the other thing I was gonna say is that fuck, I don't remember. God damn it.
No, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
You're saying motion controls, and then you went back.
Yeah.
to-
There's now I feel dumb for remembering this because it's useless to say, I guess. But there's a joke that's kind of wasted if you just play with the controller and not motion controls. Is that to like charge your beam sword, you have to do this, which is, it's fun. It's funny. It's a fun time. That's the game you're dealing with here.
I mean,
Like,
I
if you see
figure
this
because we're just
cutscene-
focused on this girl's tits right here, so I figure that that's
Yeah.
probably the game we're looking at humor-wise.
Yeah, I'll skip to the next boss while we're talking.
And it's just a huge
dude,
dick.
this-
Here we
this
go. Yeah, this
cutscene-
next boss, dog.
Okay, this cutscene, I was like, fuck, I forgot this game like goes places, because like, I don't know, the humor is what it is, but like, this was like a little far. It's fucking ridiculous, dude.
Jesus.
It's a fucking ridiculous game.
Man, I kind of wish I would have played that and not seen that just happen, because that would have really thrown me for a loop. That was wild.
Well, the game's actually full of stuff like this. That's like
Okay.
the beauty of it. There is something I want to also show you about the game, which is like cool.
This
if you've
this
never
dude looks
played
like a rejected Lethal League character right here. Like, he's just, I couldn't put him in there. Oh yeah, I saw some like screenshots of this, like that there's like a bunch of mini games or something in there.
Yeah, so like all the side jobs are like actually like pixel art, like fucking like old retro games, which is pretty cool. So like instead of just doing like weird dumb side quests to make money like on the side, you play these games.
Are they good? Are they
yeah.
gimmicky, or are they like pretty decent?
They're pretty fun, actually. Like some of them are easier than others. Like,
Oh, this one's just well done steak from Monster Hunter. I know this game. Does a song play for this one too? Like when it's happening, to where you know exactly when to do it?
yeah. Well, actually, I don't know because I actually haven't played this one. The one I've played is the Exterminator one.
Oh, okay.
I guess I'll show you that one real quick. It's a pretty good one. It's like called Bug Off or Bug Out. Let me see. Yeah, this one. It's like you go around and just suck up all the creatures, and it's pretty easy, honestly. It gets a little hectic later, like when they introduce scorpions and like you can suck up boxes and shoot them out. But like, yeah, for these little side games, like they're actually like.
Yeah, there's some care for sure put into this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And like the whole thing is like Travis Touchdown's like an otaku, like anime movie fan. So there's a lot of reference in the game. There's a lot of influence in the game. It oozes style. I don't think it lands maybe as much as maybe it used to, or maybe it really never did. But I actually just still like Travis Touchdown as a character, even though he's a fucking dick. But everybody in this universe is like a very hyper realized like.
Well, do you know any
asshole,
Travises that aren't dicks?
I mean, I might know. I only know one Travis, I think.
There you go. There you go. Man.
But that's No More Heroes. Very, very fun game.
Cool.
It's really all I've been playing. I think, like I said, the next game I'll probably be playing, like new game, is Assassin's Creed. I'm sure I'll pull some random old ass game out of my fucking hat for the next episode.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll just talk Sea of Thieves again for another 15 minutes. So
at least next week we'll be able to both talk about Assassin's Creed, so that's good. We'll have a game we finally can both touch on.
Yeah.
At least a little bit.
I like the breadth of things we discuss.
Oh, sure. But it's not, it's nice to come back to a spot where we can both go, oh, yeah, I played that too.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, Crash Bandicoot 2, look at that. Look at this whole episode. And SX6 Tricky Dog, look at this whole episode coming back around. Do you see it?
I know, man. We really did it. So, yeah, we're looking at this day in gaming. And today, when we're recording this, or tomorrow technically is when it pulls this, this is showing November 5th. So, stuff that released on November 5th.
Crash Bandicoot 2, pretty good.
Pretty fucking good
SSX
game.
Tricky, very good. 19 years ago. Fuck.
Oh my god, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I actually liked that game. I don't know if it was because I was a dumb fucking kid or.
Have you seen the more like recent Harry Potter games where it's like a cover-based shooter, and you're like, you're just like
so fucking weird,
firing a machine gun out of your wand? I was showing Jack that because she's like a big fan of Harry Potter, but it was just like bananas, and she was like, well, this isn't how this happens, this isn't right, these don't do this is sort of this. But then it was just like, yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, why is this like Gears of Potter and shit in here? And it was just really strange.
I'll touch on this real quick. I actually have a very like unique fondness for the Game Boy Color Harry Potter games. Have you ever seen them, just out of curiosity?
No, I don't recall it at all, or let me what it would look like.
Because they were actually like, I don't know. I guess it was coming off the like coattails of like. Well, I don't want to play a speed run. Let's see.
Yeah, you do. Let's watch him burn rubber all over Potter World.
Fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. It was essentially like a RPG in Harry Potter.
Damn, look, I'm just looking at a picture of myself growing up in the bottom right there. That was me at age like 7. It's ridiculous. I look just like I that's why I think I hate it. Didn't like Harry Potter growing up, because I used to get called it all the time when I was a kid.
And I wanted to up, dude.
Dude, yeah, but now Daniel Radcliffe's getting big dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
I'm speaking in code, but he's fucking dog. You know what I mean? He's walking dogs and fucking. That's old Potter for you, boy.
Stupid ass.
What, man? Harry Potter in the Chamber of Your Clitoris, girl. That's what he's up to, dog.
Holy shit.
That's cool though. No, I've never seen that game.
I like those games.
I never knew that existed.
Yeah. Return of the King, another really good licensed video game. I don't know if you ever played it.
Was that the like where you switch between the three guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I remember people being really fond of that one.
I like those games quite a bit.
Call of Duty 4, arguably the best Call of Duty game up until recent years when the newest one the newest one is sort of a remake of Modern Warfare 4. So there you go.
Yeah.
It is kind of the best one. This game,
Radiant Dawn, never played.
Man, you should watch Justin play Modern Warfare. It's crazy. But yeah, Fire Emblem, Radiant Dawn, I haven't played that one. That one's really hard to come by because that was I'm thinking of the Wii one. Or the GameCube one.
The GameCube with the microphone, or is that a different game?
No,
it was a different game. There was a different
I'm thinking
game
of something
with a
else.
Microphone.
Oh shit. OG Divinity 2. Not Original Sin, but the Dragon Knight, the pretty wild version of it.
The one I didn't know existed at all.
That I sort of recently played a little bit when we were going back. Well, we really need to finish Divinity 2 at some point.
We fucking do, dude. I was thinking about that today, actually. I really want to go back and do that.
That's a good game.
Call of Duty Ghosts. When you were talking about the best Call of Duty ever, I was going to make a joke and say, yeah, since Call of Duty Ghosts. Remember that one?
That's actually up until this most recent one. That was the only one I had played because it was like free on PlayStation Plus or something. The brief 4-month window I own a PlayStation, it was on there, so I played that a little bit.
Grim Dawn PC. That's a very good game. I'm not huge on those like Diablo-esque games, like the ARPG, like fucking whatever.
I really like them, but they really have to do something to pull me in because they're all kind of the same game. Not that you couldn't say that about a lot of games, but
yeah. Did you ever play Titan Quest? Like that's another.
Yeah, I did a little bit. Like kind of hit or miss.
It's the same studio who did that. I like the flavor of the game. It's like the time of like plague doctors and shit like that. Like right around that like almost.
Oh yeah, this one came out. Because they had another Van Helsing was another one they did that was kind of like that, which I like that one quite a bit too. But then they added the DLC stuff to it that was apparently super bad, so people like really fell off of it. But the first bit was good. I don't know. I might have played Grim Dawn too. Hold on, let me pull up what that actually looks like.
Yeah. While you're
actually, Travis played a lot of this game. Now that we're bringing up Travis's. He played a shit ton of this game. I remember him and his brother would always play it, but I have not.
Yeah, what an asshole.
Yeah, what an asshole.
As you called Travis's games.
Grim Dawn.
You called all Travis's assholes up.
They are all assholes.
Disney Magical
I
World
like
2,
Travis,
my favorite
they're
video
assholes.
game. Disney Magical World 2, dude.
Wait, is that? Oh no, that's not the one. Have you ever played the Xbox Disney tour game? Basically, it's like Disney's Magical World.
It's a very odd experience.
It is really weird. Yeah, I played that. I was actually one of the first things that was on Xbox Game Pass for PC. So I like ran through it. I was like, "What the fuck is this thing?" And it was really weird. You have to go give like Goofy a hand job. It's really weird. He's like
fucking Gorsh.
He's like, Gorsh. He's like, hey kid, you want to see the movie Gorsh? And you're like, I guess. He's like, and you're like, Goofy, are you good? And he's like, yeah, my voice box is all broken. And then Mickey's like, oh, his voice box doesn't work. Give him a hand job. And you're like, wow, geez, guys, Disney World's fucking weird. He's like, oh, your dad can watch. And you're like, Mickey, dude, what? That's not a family thing. He's like, it's a magical family wonderland, huh? And he's like, oh, sorry, Mickey. Come on, suck my dick. Give me that Nintendo dick.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Donald comes up and he's like, and you're like, Donald, you old ragamuffin. No one knows what the fuck you're saying.
Oh, Donald, you old ragamuffin. Holy shit.
Yeah.
God damn.
I would like to name the episode that, but with the election, I don't think I will.
Yeah. Probably not.
Hey, Just Dance 2020, dog. Oh, okay, that's another weird one. Have you ever played Conception before? Do you know anything about that game?
I don't.
Okay, so this is I haven't played a lot of it, but it was like sort of set up in. It was kind of like a Persona style battle system, but the Conception idea is that you're like breeding children that you then have fight with you. So you're sort of like making a legacy of. You're sort of boning down and making a bunch of kids that then fight with you. So you're like, your team is all these weird children that you've created. I think, if I remember right. I didn't play a lot of this game because it was just like a little too. I don't know.
Oh no, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I like this.
create star children between God's gifts, and then it'll give you. I think it. I can't. I don't. Again, I didn't play enough of this game. It was like a little too much for me. Like not. It was like a little too far into the anime realm that the side of it I'm not super into. And then, yeah, I mean, because like that, you're just seeing a child's butt cheeks right there. You can't really tell anybody's age, and everybody's a little horny, and you're having kids. It just felt a little weird.
Yeah, I'm cutting away from this.
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, that's the orphanage helper, Ruka. She has cancer, apparently. Oh, she is a cancer. I'm sorry. I thought that was a weird moniker. She's like, she helps at the orphanage. She's got cancer. You want to bone her, though, so her legacy lives on? Fucking weird, man. It's a weird game, I told you.
And I guess the last one is Red Dead 2 came out on PC. What a good game.
I've heard of that game.
Fantastic video game. Probably one of my favorites of all time.
I'd like to finish it at some point. I'd actually really, again, as always, I've said this, actually probably the last 4 weeks in total, I would like to play the online version of that game. If you guys would please fix it. Thank you very much, please.
Thank you, Rockstar. Thank you.
Thank you, Rockstar. Can you make it to where the people can't make horses catch on fire and lions fall out of the sky? I know it's kind of fun, but not always. Not all the time.
Well, we did it.
That's video games.
Another day.
Another day, another video game, another way to play. Another trip to Disneyland, another hand job to an amplifier. I said that word right, dog, and his mouse friend who watches. And
your dad could watch too. But.
Your dad can. Your dad can see. It's like, I don't, Mickey. I really don't want that. If I'm gonna have to do this, I really don't want that. It's like, oh, please, it's for me. I made the whole place. It's my kingdom. You're like, oh, fuck, right. You are in charge here, aren't you? And he's like, yep, you're going to listen to him. He's in charge, Maxie. He's like, that's not my name. He's like, that's my son. I can't find him. But I bet I could if you give me a little wacky jib. Remember that one movie where Goofy couldn't find Max until you gave him a hand job and that sort of guided him? It was really strange, but it totally happened. It was a real movie that Disney definitely made.
Oh God!
And then there's Donald that comes in.
I like that Donald is just a man hacking up his nose.
That's all he does.
That should have been what Epic Mickey was about.
Oh, it was. It's actually a lot seedier than that. I won't bring up the details because it's pretty gross, and I feel like I've already gone a little too far for this episode. But it was pretty bad. You thought that those paintbrushes were actually paint, but that was seminal fluid.
Oh fuck!
I know. The more you know. You just put that
fluids.
Star across the screen right now that says that.
Oh fuck! All right.
Hey, that's video games.
Deadly Robot. Pretty much anywhere.
Oh yeah. If you're here, you found me. There will be a teardown review coming up soon. What else? There's another one on the docket. We may put up some Blair Witch footage. We did record a thing together. My partner and I, we may do that. I feel like I had one other thing. I'll probably be putting up a video whenever the index shows up. If that's sooner than I think it will be, and some comparison stuff there. I may do another video about the Oculus because some people are having some questions. They're not as thrilled with me not loving the thing, so I may have to do another thing there. But hey, that's video games.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for being here, guys.